So you guys have finally made the decision to move to China, or at least come visit. You decided to cut ties, say goodbye to your family, get rid of your car, sell all your stuff, throw away any foreseeable future. Just kidding. Of course, we have our own reasons to go abroad and become expats or even travel around the world. But after being here for about 8 years now, I don't think anything's gonna get different for me. Pretty used to living in China. The beeping, all of the background noise, the craziness, all of its beautiful insanity. I'm absolutely used to living here in China. However, if I could go back in time, I would wish that I knew these 5 things. Number 5 is knowing what topics you should talk about. Now, as an American, I know my fellow countrymen like to have very staunch opinions and are very opinionated no matter how well informed they are about a topic.
Do you guys know what currency the UK uses?
What's the currency?
Euros?
Euros.
However, in China, it's not quite the same because there's this misconception that in China, a lot of people don't have the freedom to say what they want to say, but amongst themselves, Chinese people can pretty much talk about whatever they like. The problem is coming in from an outside perspective and having an opinion on hot button issues. So I want to cover a few opinions that you should have and never, ever, ever deviate from. And the first one is that all of these places, like Taiwan, like Hong Kong, like Tibet, and all of these sensitive regions that you've probably heard about, all of these places and everywhere that China decides to draw a line around the map on have always been and always will be part of China.
Japan is Satan. Seriously, it's the worst country in the entire world, and everybody hates it, and you have to hate it too.
Or if you're in Hong Kong, realize that everyone here is super happy that in 1997 it was handed back to China.
In World War II, China defeated Japan without the help of the US. But the US did drop a bomb.
Number 4 is bring a coat. Now that sounds absolutely ridiculous. I'm walking around in over 100-degree heat and I'm telling you to bring a jacket and warm clothes. Well, the reason is, of course, if you're going to Harbin or Beijing or somewhere way up north, you know that it's gonna have seasonal temperatures kind of similar to where you might be from. If you're like me and from, the continental US. Up in New York, we have cold winters, just like the north of China. However, I didn't move to the north, and there's plenty of cities down south in China that will burn your little ass off. So why in these hot places would you ever want to bring warm clothes? I mean, you can go on weather.com and check cities like Guangzhou or Shenzhen or a place like where I am, and you'll see that the temperature, around the summertime is about 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees real feel. And then September rolls around and then you see the temperature hasn't changed. And then October comes around and you're like, wow, it's still pretty damn hot. And then November comes around and you're like, what in Mao's name is actually happening? It's freaking hot here and it's autumn. Then December rolls around and you can kind of put away the shorts at this point. However, that doesn't mean that it's actually cold out. But then January and February roll around and what the hell is going on? The problem is below the Yangtze River here in China, there is no heating. So although the temperature is only 40 or 50 degrees Fahrenheit, it doesn't seem that cold outside, but there's no getting away from it. There's no escape. So you go back to your concrete box of an apartment and it's basically like an isolated chill box. You're sitting there under your blanket using your laptop as a heater. It's pretty nasty, and in some of these places in winter it even snows. So you imagine it's snowing outside and you go home and you're freezing your ass off because there's no heater. Definitely pack warm clothes. Number 3 is get a frickin' haircut. No, seriously, my hair is really bothering me right now. I'll be right back. So number 3 is you gotta bring shoes. Now, why is that? Well, everyone told me that Chinese people were really short before I came here, and that's just wrong. That's an absolute lie. Because these kids around me, these teenagers, some of these kids are taller than I am, and I'm 6'1". This is absolutely ridiculous. So why do they have such damn small feet? I have lived here 8 years now, and I've been to 1 shoe shop in the entire country that has carried my size. Now, I wear a size 13 in the US, so yeah, I'm not really normal. My feet are pretty big, but the biggest I've ever been able to find in China is size 10. Now, if I were to go around and take a poll of people that were 6'5" and above, you'd find out that all of them have smaller than size 10 feet, and I have absolutely no idea why that is. I'm gonna lump another one in here as well, and that's deodorant. Why would you need to bring deodorant? Does that mean Chinese people don't smell? Well, that's actually kind of true. There is this weird Asian gene around East Asia where people actually don't tend to carry body odor like us kind of savage foreign Western people. And my wife is included in this, and oftentimes it's connected to the gene that also allows people to have not yellow earwax, like dry gray earwax. But it's a bit of a scientific mystery for me. Deodorant was pretty much unheard of when I first came here. I've seen it a few times around, but usually the spray-on stuff, not the stuff that you're used to back home, like stick deodorant. I've seen roll-on a couple times, but you should bring a few sticks with you. The last time I went back home, I brought back 10 sticks. What the f did he do to my hair? Number 2 is driving. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I absolutely love driving. And you know, when you move to a different country, you think that maybe the rules are the same. Everything is kind of like a different exotic mirrored image of where you're from. Because at least in North America, when you're 15, 16 years old, you get your driver's license, buy a hunk of junk, piece of shit car, and you hit the road. You know, it kind of exemplifies the freedom of a teenager. And you know, since then I've fallen in love with driving. Give me any car in the world, you know, whether it be motorcycle or I'm driving a minivan for God's sakes right now. And I enjoy it, I just love it. The problem is, no one told me that driving in China was gonna be this stressful. From the traffic that can literally choke up a highway for days at a time, to the point where people will get out of the car and play badminton on the side of the road and eat instant noodles, to the absolute anarchy on the road. It is unbelievable chaos here. No one told me that no one follows the rules. No one will let you in if you're trying to merge. Everyone will cut you off without a turn signal. And the use of beeping your horns like this is prolific. It's everywhere. I mean, the horns will keep me up. They used to keep me up at night. They're a bit of a lullaby. When I go back home to the US, I tend to find myself using my horn quite a bit, and it really pisses people off. And that's just a bad habit you get here because everyone uses their horn to let other people know that they're there instead of their turn signals or, you know, graciously allowing people in. Now, it's especially dangerous if you're a pedestrian because in some of these crosswalks, I'd say the majority of people don't actually stop for pedestrians to let them cross. It's only just beginning in cities like Shenzhen, like in the downtown core, that they're trying to make it a law. Now, where does all this chaotic driving stem from? Well, China has a weird system. There's no real police that will pull you over, but they do have an intricate system of speed cameras. So, for example, right now on this road, if I go about 105, so that's 5 kilometers an hour over the speed limit, I will end up with a pretty big fine and then points off my license. And since that's pretty much the only way they regulate kind of traffic violations and stuff, are these cameras at the red light and the speed cameras in the highway, it means that nobody is really scared of breaking any other rule. So you can't really get tickets for other traffic violations other than speeding or running red lights or turning when you're not supposed to at an intersection. So it's this weird system where everyone's kind of allowed to run free, and it's what can be described as total anarchy on the roads. Not recommended, terrifying. Number 1, perhaps the heaviest of them all, is travel narrows the mind. Now, we've all heard the opposite, and that is travel expands the mind. But actually in China, it's a little bit different. Now, a lot of us, when we hear the word China, we immediately think of sweeping bamboo forests and ornate tea ceremonies, or even these narrow alleyways that hold all the secrets to this very complex and ancient culture. But there is a lot to China, to be honest. It just takes a lot more digging. China is a bit rude, crude, it's loud, it's pushy, it's noisy. You know, when you're dodging the spit or you're being pushed out of the elevator because people never wait until you get off. And when you get out of the elevator, you might be reeking of cigarette smoke. Or as a pedestrian, you might be hit by a car or an errant truck. But at the end of the day, this all falls on the shoulder of China's lost generation, which is the people that grew up under Chairman Mao. So these people would be about 50, 60, 70 years old, and it's not fair to lump the youngsters into that. But China is definitely a new country, and I always kind of feel a little bit disappointed for people that come here to seek out ancient kung fu culture and things like this, because China really kind of started in 1949 and went through a hell of a shit show, and is just kind of picking up the pieces, pulling itself out of the ashes, and turning itself into a modernized country. So I say this to people, I wouldn't go to China if you're trying to find some ancient Asian country that has all these crazy, amazing characteristics. Thank you so much, Laowinners. I hope you found this video very useful or interesting. And if you did like it, please go downstairs, hit the like button, because we need to get this channel bigger and better, and more people need to see it. At least I believe so. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and don't forget to click the little bell button next to the subscribe button. And yeah, if you have any suggestions, go to my Patreon. If you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, head over there and check it out. And I want to say thank you so much, Laowinners, and I will catch you on the next one.